Hi guys, Mike here from KS Bushcraft Down Under. So we're going to knock you out a review today of the Condor Cavelore Bushcraft Knife. So about a year ago I bought the Condor Utsi, which is a bit of a homage to Utsi the Iceman, and a great little knife, it really is. So I decided to get the Cavelore. Sort of suits my style of bushcraft equipment. 1095 carbon steel, got a lot going for that. We'll knock you out the specs. So the knife in the included sheath, 201 grams on my scales, 173 grams for the knife alone. About 4 grams different between that and the Moore Garberg, which is a pretty similar sort of size knife. It is full tang. The handles are burnt American hickory. They are pinned under this wrap, as well as being wrapped. The blade length 109.5 millimeters. Overall knife 236.5. 3mm blade, 3mm thick I should say. Made in El Salvador, and it comes with a welted leather sheath. So when it's in the box, the knife isn't in the sheath, of course, being carbon steel. And this was completely round. So with the shape of this leaf-shaped blade, the first time you put it in the sheath, if you're not careful, it wants to cut this side of the sheath. So you need to give it a bit of a squeeze and guide it home. Now by the time I give this some beeswax, it will shape the Utsi did as well. It shaped it up quite nicely after a few applications of beeswax and out in the sun, to and from. Now all this is natural stuff, so you're going to have to look after it. So I don't mind that. Otherwise you can get a high carbon stainless and put it in Kydex if you don't want to look after stuff. So talking about that, if you're the type of guy that doesn't look after his toys and you put your stuff away wet, 1095 carbon steel's probably not for you. You'd be better off with a high carbon stainless. Now this Moore Garberg is a great knife. When I got it, I couldn't sharpen it on the whetstone I've been using for 40 years. It would not remove any of the material. So it holds a great edge, but really difficult to sharpen with a rock out of the river or stuff. You need either a diamond ceramic stone. So what I did for the Garberg, I bought one of these Fulton Even diamond and ruby ceramic stones, and you can strop it on the back of the box. So I had to get that. Now 1095 carbon, you'll be fine. Relatively easy to sharpen. Now do the side by side of these two. True Scandi. So advantages: the Garberg, not a true Scandi, it's a pseudo Scandi. I'd call it a saber grind, meaning you've got your Scandi here and a secondary bevel. Now that's about 20 degrees. A common bitty angle for most pocket knives and stuff. So you've got a nice thick body and a small sharp edge. Now the Scandi, to sharpen it, you've got to remove material from the entire edge. The pseudo Scandi, you've just got this small edge along here, and that's razor sharp by the way. So it can be difficult to remove stuff with this in the field. If you're running around with a small pocket sharpener and a really sharp knife, this is difficult. So what I did with the Garberg, this is my Petromax eating plate. I chiseled out the back so that I could lock my sharpening stone in place. So rather than trying to hold the stone and cut something off I might want to use later, you know, they carry a couple of nails if you want, or make something like this. So laying the Scandi on, kicking it up 20 degrees, and I'm bringing it towards me without anything in the way of the cutting angle. Okay, so something to think about with pseudo Scandis. This true Scandi, all I need to do is to put it on here and work away. There's nothing in the firing line I might want to use later, as in fingers and stuff, and you can do it that way. So easy to sharpen in the field, being a Scandi on a pocket stone. So if you're out there for a while and you want to look after your tools, it's a lot easier to look after in respect to sharpness. Now, straight out of the box, this came with a small chip in the blade, which I wasn't that thrilled about. Just down here. Now, it will come out pretty quickly. Most of it already has, and I can live with that. For me, with large to XL size hands in gloves, there's enough handle. Now, the leather thong at the bottom goes through the blade, through the tang I should say, and if that goes, you're going to have a bit of a job getting a new one through, because it's actually captured, you can't slide it through, so she's a pretty tight fit. Looking at the bush law, you're going to have to remove some of this wood stock to change that out if you need to. But a good looking knife, if aesthetics are important to you, and most bushcrafters, aesthetics are important to us. So, spear point, this leaf design in blade cuts really well, especially with wood and feather sticks, due to the fact that most of the time you only use that part of your blade, but this will cut and work wood really well. Right guys, had a few minutes with the double ceramic just on the light side. I've just about taken out that little chip in the bottom of the blade here. Now, coming up quite nicely. It had some form of coating on it, and it was gumming up the ceramic stone, and I'm pretty pleased about that. That's good enough for me. So, taking the hair off my arm easy enough. A bit more work, but for a bushcrafting knife, that's plenty sharp enough. Now, I haven't stropped it yet on the leather, and that'll help that no end. So these fault and even sharpeners, you can use the strop leather on the back as a strop. That just helps all the line up all the fibres. So unlike sharpening, you're just bringing it away from it. Sometimes it's all required in the field. I haven't got any compound on this one. It's not something I bother with. Now that helps to line the fibres better. You can actually feel the difference just by those three goes on the strop. So sharp enough and easy to look after. So I'm going to get some linseed oil on this handle. I'm going to get some lanolin on this blade and some beeswax on the sheath. Right guys, while I'm doing this, I might as well do all my wooden handled knives. So small amounts and regulars are the way to go with all this type of stuff. So we'll start with a light coat. If it all disappears, I'll do another one. You don't want it being sticky. Little and often, rather than chunks. Really. A little bit goes a long way. So this Utzi's been done a couple of times before, and my Capard been done at least twice before. look after your kit, guys. It'll look after you. So if you're not the right person to look after stuff, Kydex, G10. But these are good life skills to look after your gear. While I'm banging on about looking after your stuff, if you've got one of these ceramic, either diamond ceramic or ceramic stones, they say you don't need to wash them and clean them, but this metal builds up. Now the eraser, either on the back of your pencil, or a full size one's even better, you can take out the embedded metal with it quite well as it transfers over. About half an hour, and some spots on the handle are still wet with the linseed. I might leave this overnight to dry and might reapply it, so that'll be its second coat. So you can see with a quick rinse off after I've used the eraser, the ceramic's nice and clean again. Get some beeswax on there. There again, you don't need to go crackers with it. Small amounts done regular, better than a huge amount of goop put on in one shot. A bit cold in here for this today. Nice sunny day would be better, but it's a bit of winter. I'll get one layer on, and then I'll go and put this somewhere warm and let this soak in. Then I'll polish off any excess. Right guys, ended up with 2 coats of beeswax on the sheet. It's formed up nicely, so it's holding a nice oval shape now, so I don't have to worry so much about the blade going in and out. Pleased with that. Looking after your blade in the field. So if you're using your knife to prep food, bit of olive oil and a little bottle, keep your blade up to date. If you're not using it in food prep so much, this lanolin's a natural product and I use it on all my blades. Now the only thing I didn't mention on the review is the back of this knife isn't sharp, so if you want to strike your fire steel on it, you're going to have to sharpen this. But it's such a pleasure to use that there's plenty of other things you can strike a ferro rod on. So I'm thinking it's going to be a good bit of kit, guys. Anyway, if this type of content helps you out, steers you in the right direction, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. If you're not good, you won't be going to Bunnings, and this is not being good. Going home tonight, and when your mummy comes here, try and look excited about it, alright?